On Monday, we told you that the Edo State Commissioner of Police denied report of attack on the Benin City home of the national chairman of APC, Adams Oshiomhole. Tonight, we shall be unraveling what looks like a true picture of events that took place at the Benin GRA home of former governor of Edo State, Adams Oshiomhole. Now, fresh videos have, however, emerged of one Albert, who is alleged to have knowledge of the incident. And another youth group loyal to the APC national chairman also pushed a video of their leader, Tony Kabaka. Let's just take you through some of the videos that they pushed.
People will go protest for Adamu House. People will go Adamu House, go protest to say no to Godfatherism. Because most of these people, they know the thing. You understand? Generous. They be generous for the game. Many of them don't fair walk. They don't fair follow some of the wrong things. Others who call themselves EPM now, empty people miscreants. Others Osabawa be miscreants. Osabawa say you want to remove governors. Why, man? What's your best out of zero?
My brother, this is a political crisis. Yeah, now they call me here when make me come here. You know my heart just broke. Now go out on the road call.
The APC national chairman also spoke immediately after the incident. In all of this, the state police commissioner is insisting there was no attack that day.
You say the national chairman alleged. I didn't hear that. And to the best of my knowledge, nobody attacked his house. Yesterday, if you are there, you see the level of security coverage we give him from his house to Oba's Palace, from Oba's Palace to the airport when he left for Abuja.
That's the police commissioner in Edo State, Dan Mala Muhammad, saying that nothing happened. Whatever you hear are all rumors. Have in the studio, the former Attorney General is also a lawyer of Edo State, Barrister Henry Idabon. We also have another lawyer in the studio, Godswill Iyoha Iyoke. We shall also be joined by Dr. Don Pedro Obaseki from Benin City. Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Don Pedro. If the Commissioner of Police, who happens to be in charge of security in Edo State, and knows that he has made a statement that there was no incident in the state, that is that's the person in charge of security in the state. So what happened? How come the story is everywhere?
I am the only eyewitness to the events of Saturday night. Even the national chairman wasn't an eyewitness because he wasn't there. I was the only person there. When the house manager came to me and said there were some people at the gate shouting profanities and obscenities, and I came out. I saw them. And about 10 buses parked in front. Yeah, 10 buses parked in front of the national chairman. They were all shouting profanities. They were banging at the gate. And I have bad news for the CP. We have the audio recording of the obscenities and the profanities those boys were shouting that night. I can play the audio for you. They were shouting profanity. If any of they had seen anybody close to the national chairman himself that night, they would have descended on the person.
So you feel that it was an orchestrated attack?
Of course it was. We even know where they took off from. They took off from Edo Hotel. Because they had information.
How did you know that they took off from Edo Hotel?
Look, you see, when Abatobaze was making his speech in that video, he said most of the boys that went to the national chairman's house, they are former generals, not to Oshiomhole. They had worked for Oshiomhole. We know ourselves. We know ourselves.
All right, I'll come back to you. Barrister, nothing happened according to the police commissioner, who happens to be the one in charge of police security.
Think, what we have thus far, I mean, from the point of view of the chief security of, when I would call him the chief operative yes. of the state, the commissioner, there was no incidents. By that, I would want to believe that it's not that nothing happened. Something happened, but it's not such as could be said to be security breach or threat to security. And I want to stand...
Is it threat to security or threat to the life of the person who is the occupant
of
the
threat to
house?
Security, whether it becomes a threat to life or threat to property, it was not such a threat as should constitute a crime or security breach. That's what I want to believe the commissioner said. And from what my colleague had just said, I think it confirms that fact too, that if there was an attack, there would have been evidence of damage. There was no attack. And if a mob comes, you can't control the mob. And if indeed persons you could construe as a mob came to attack, they won't come back to call you later to say, we came, we tried to do this. If what they sought to do amounts to criminality, they will not want to be identified with such a thing. If anybody thinks otherwise, there should be evidence to show that. That's the point I am making. But thus far, there's no evidence to suggest otherwise. That's why I side with the Commissioner of Police. He's the man on ground. He's the man from whom you get reports. Some other views could be subjective.
And that's why I found it funny that the CP will come to say nothing of such happened. Either he was not properly briefed or he's just been, he's not been honest. And that's why I said to you that I have an audio here recording the chants, the profanities those boys were chanting that day, you will hear the talking. You will hear what they are talking.
Is it not possible that those the people in the buses were going somewhere? Because if 10 buses of 10 passengers, 100 persons stay in front of a compound, there must surely be rowdiness in that area.
Of course, it was rowdy.
Then and how come people don't know? And the commissioner, some persons are saying nothing happened that very day.
You
And
know the part of the GRA we are talking about? You know the part of the GRA we are talking about?
No,
it's a low-density area.
Okay, let's go to Benin. Dr. Pedro Obaseki, thank you very much for joining us on the program.
Ijoma, thank you very, very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. I'm sure you've listened to the two lawyers that are here. Thank God you're also a lawyer. From their statement so far, what is your take? Because he is an eyewitness, he was there, and he has given his own account.
As an officer of the law, I do not expect the Honorable Henry Dagbo, who is also a distant cousin of myself and the governor, to come up with anything that will be economical with the truth. I am in Benin, and I was in Benin throughout the time this happened. And the only things that we have seen so far is the after effect recording by Mr. Albert Obaze, who stood in front of a solitary vehicle, definitely not at night, which means that was recorded much, much later, a minimum of the next day, which was yesterday. We've also seen the only video that we saw at night was the video of the comrade governor, the ex-governor, the chairman of the party, in his own compound, in a bad light. He recorded. So I'm not comfortable with the fact that Henry did not record. He has an audio recording, which I think after the 48 hours of this being in the public space, is yet to be released. And I want to plead to join the argument of Barrister Yoha. You see, when we go through all this, it's good we look at it from a very dispassionate point of view. I will not want to believe Henry Dagbo because he is a very principally interested party. And so his views can only justifiably be subjective because he is the principal person. He is if it was in drama now, he is the protagonist of the fight to take away the governor.
But he was there. He's talking as an eyewitness.
Were you there?
He was there.
You only believe what he said because I wasn't there to serve as a collaborator to what he has said. He said he was there. So the only thing we have is the self-professed confession of Henry Dagbo that he was there when Henry Dagbo is also the principal protagonist in this. So he can as well say he was there for whatever political value that we add. But that is not what my problem is. My problem is we have seen a situation where my very learned Attorney General of the state, my former president is the president of my private club, is my friend, is my distant cousin. For him now to be the general, to borrow from about Obaze's word, of those leading the worst of us. Tony Kabaka cannot be anything. Once, let me tell you where the problem is in this fight. The problem is, the Edo nation is being pushed to face the anger of a Tony Kabaka and the likes. People who have ensured that our take-home pay don't take us home. People who have ensured that the Commonwealth of the Edo nation, a proud nation, a nation that under 1550 already were bronze casters who were playing with bronze and brass alloy. Today, we are inundated in the social media space by the sheer brigade of a Tony Kabaka, led by a very erudite, very well-informed former Attorney General of the state, who, I must say, is there. He is principal to me not being able to run for governor. Because
really? That's interesting.
No. Henry is my friend. The governor is my elder brother. That is a statement of fact. But unfortunately, we are inundated by the larger political play where these persons have decided to sacrifice their Edo-ness for personal gain. I think that the biggest problem in all this imbroglio is the fact that our ex-governor, who had ruled our state for 8 years, who became governor and succeeded us twice on the vocal support of the Edo South nation, is today not playing a role he should play. All these ones we are saying, for me to hear the ex-governor, the national chairman, talking 2 nights ago on social media, playing a biblical card to his own selective advantage.
I saw it, he was preaching.
I feel, if me, as a leader, what I would have done so far, even if Godwin is a mess, because in literature, there is what we call chichidodo, the Ghanaian bird that hates shit, and yet eats the maggot from shit. Godwin cannot be fought in the open domain by Oshiomhole. It's a shame on the APC and a shame on the national leadership of the same party. Now, what I thought they would do, I've been advocating on this your program for quite a while, that this is not a problem that cannot be sorted out. What we are faced with is a hubristic problem, a problem of huge tragic pride. Hubris or hubris, the Greek word, where the low-level hoi polloi, the wretched of the earth, are being used to settle personal political scores within the same party. I have listened to it. I cannot be stupid enough to believe the rantings of a Tony Kabaka with his broken, quaint, uneducated verbiage. Neither can I believe the very lucid position of Henry. I am not saying it's been economical with the truth. He's a very interested party, the principal party. So the only person I can believe here is the state principal policing officer. He said clearly, and Barrister Ayoke has also said it so.
Okay.
If there was so much wahala as it is being said by our brothers, Okorotu, he said, is a low-density area. No, Okorotu is less than 600 meters away from Saple Road Junction, from Kada Plaza. It's the fourth turning on the right on Ikpopan. Ikpopan is the most active area of the GRA, where there are about 16 to 17 late-night clubs and about 20 hotels within less than 200 meters of one another. So for him to say it's a low-density area, no, Henry, that is a lie.
Sorry, we'll come back.
Pedro is not a fit and proper person to even be invited to make a comment because he's a direct second cousin to the governor. He's a direct second cousin to the governor. The flag, yes, the flag cannot give judgment against the injury, against the sore on your leg. So Don Pedro is not the appropriate person.
So you've also listened to Don Pedro, and what he's saying now is that it's an orchestrated plan, and they have a list of people who they want to attack in Edo State.
Well, I think if it's a statement of intention, we are asking what he has stopped dealing with the issue is what happened on that night. What is Wednesday we talk about? Was there an attack?
Saturday.
Was there an attack on that Saturday night? Was there any act you could construe as threat to security or breach of security? And we say no. An attack is a physical act. There must be something to show that an attack took place.
Yeah.
And if no attack took place, and no evidence to show an attack took place, yeah, he was there, I wasn't there. But the only thing that I'm just talking as an interested observer.
We have just a few time, about 2 minutes to go, but I'll need to talk to my guests to just give us their parting shot. Let me start with Don Pedro. Don Pedro Obaseki. Hello, Dr. Pedro.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, just be quick because we do not have the time. Let's find out from you. What's the way forward? Is there no solution to it?
There is a solution, and the solution rests squarely in the lap of Mr. Adams Oshiomhole and the lap of Mr. Godwin Obaseki. I also want to appeal quickly to my brother. He accused me of being a second cousin to Godwin. No, I'm a first cousin to Godwin. The person who is a third cousin to Godwin is him.
So you're all related.
So yeah, we are.
It's a family affair.
Yeah, so I know him. He's very angry. And I think in his quiet moments within the sanctuary of locked doors, I want to beg Henry to place the upward movement and patrimony of the Edo nation forward. So I've just looked at the whole thing going down, and I've told myself that the only way we can rescue Edo now is to bury our APC-ness, our PDP-ness, so that we can uplift our Edo-ness.
All right, thank
you. And
you.
I know that our principal, our national chairman, Mr. Adams Oshiomhole, he should give Godwin a chance. Godwin is barely 2 years and 11 months in office. He still has a year and a month to go. And Oshiomhole did what he did, all the crying, in 8 years. Please, for the sake of our children, we should not be held hostage by a mob of brigands who are bent on taking us down.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Don Pedro, for being a part of this.